Yōkoso, Yōkoso, Yōkoso. Arigato gozaimasu. Welcome to the Stadia Monday Night Chat, episode 116, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, of course, Clive Illenden, and I welcome you, hola, to the show. And what an exciting show we've got. We've got so much to discuss. Such sort of good news from last week. Of course, we're going to be talking about the expansion to Mexico and all of that. Hola to our Mexican friends there. What a treat you've got in store for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, in the land of Mexico there. So that's going to be great. We're going to be talking about, of course, that. We're going to be talking about the pro games. Oh, my God. The pro games, I mean, they seem okay when they were announced, but when you play them, they're more than okay. I mean, I'm wasting a lot of time in there. Have you played the pro games? Of course. Let me know. Put that in the chat. Remember, of course, it is the Stadia Monday Night Chat. We'll have all the analysis. We'll have all the news. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have the chat. That's you. And before I forget, happy July the 4th to our friends on the other side of the pond over there. How you doing since we left you with the keys to the place? Yeah? Just give us a call if you want us to come back. Anything like that. Anyway, yeah, and especially if those are on holiday out there and choosing to watch me. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Boom! Oh, my Lord. The one, the only, wonderful, wonderful Mr. DeSlip. What can I say? Thank you so much, Mr. DeSlip. Much, much appreciated. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I really appreciate that. Anyway, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, before we let me know what games you've been playing in the chat. Let me know whether you've delved into the Stadia Pro games. Do you have any favorites from there, or any of the games that also released last week that weren't pro games as well? What are you looking forward to and all of that? Oh, finally, the notification comes through. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Jack. Much appreciated again. Let us know all of that. Let us know your feelings on Mexico in terms of Stadia launching there, not just your general feelings on Mexico. Unless, of course, you like it, then that's fine as well. Plus, rolling out on Samsung TVs. Are you in line for a new TV? I mean, I did just fork out for the LG 6 months ago. Can't really justify forking out for a Samsung, but have you? Or are you planning to? Let me know and all of that. Get involved in the chat, say hello, all of that. And of course, before I forget, please hit the likes because I like it. Yeah. And YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find amazing content like this that keeps you up to date and informed and educated and entertained about all things Stadia. And as we have seen over the last week, yeah, the information, the analysis that I've been giving you over the last 116 episodes seems to be roughly on the right tracks, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? Despite all the pressure, despite the negativity that you read, we've remained focused on this show, haven't we? We've remained focused on the facts and use those facts for analysis. And we've drawn a line between the dots, a straight line, ladies and gentlemen. A straight narrative from what Stadia have said. We've listened to what Stadia say. We listen to what publishers and developers say about Stadia, yeah, who are working with them. We look at the jobs that Stadia are looking for, recruiting, yeah, and then we draw a line between the dots, and we ignore all the noise and the nonsense. And do you know what? When you do that, guess what? It seems that you have the ability almost to read the future. Yeah, this is my crystal ball. Yeah. Well, I don't have the ability to read the future, but using facts and analysis, we can make a jolly good educated guess. Anyway, more on that later, ladies and gentlemen. While we're here, why don't we delve into chat and just say hello to the early birds, ladies and gentlemen. I always like to see who's in there first. Mr. Bayron plays there. He's yeah. This is the Minions: The Rise of Gru. Yeah, it's funny. Rock interviewed me in his Stars of Stadia, and I realised now, listening back, I think I am Gru. I think I wanted to be Gru as a child before I even knew Gru was. Anyway, Sednar, listening, good. Remember, this show is also available on your favourite podcast platform, and this episode should be available from about 12 hours from now, tomorrow afternoon, basically, will also be available there. Hey, Antonio Ramirez. Hola. Hi. How are you? Welcome to the show, sir. ER Gaming, evening. Jack, thank you. You've made it's not even my bank holiday or my holiday Monday, but you made it, Jack. You've made it mine. Hey, Primo. What? Yeah, we were waiting. I was just treading water until you came, Primo. If I'm honest, there. Jerry, hello. How are you? Inled. Oh my God, Inled has been busy with the stats, the data, and Inled. I'm gonna be riding on your coattails later, showing off some of your amazing data charts and stuff. Jamie, how are you? Yay, Tupac! Finally, make it to the live show. I hope you appreciate it. You're getting a shout out. That's one thing. Whoa, the cowboy's in the house. Live from his pool. Too much information. Of course, it's going to be epic. Yeah, happy 4th. Tally, Darkstar, how are you? Twisted Barber. Howdy. Dave, how are you? Good to see you. I know what you meant. Oh, dear. Dave. Oh. I should put the controller in the front so it looks like a middle finger. Yeah, very good, Primo. Hola, Clive, ¿cómo estás? I'm good, thank you. Hey, Jack, of course. He's showing me what an awesome guy he is. He's amazing. We love Jack. He's awesome. And now your mum knows been playing a lot of Roguebook. I haven't started Roguebook, if I'm honest. It is of the pro games. I haven't started it. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna have a look at it. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, those card games. Although what I didn't realise is that it's partly written by the guy who did Magic Gathering. I'm not a nerd. I don't know what it's called, but I do know that the Magic Gathering or Magic the Gathering is massive. So that Roguebook, therefore, from my limited knowledge, must have a lot of credibility in the world of those sort of card collecting turn-based story games. But there we go. Exactly. Wowza. He is a legend. The thing about Jack is he loves Stadia. He enjoys people who are enjoying Stadia, and he wants to celebrate that. And do you know what I mean? That positivity in a community is great. And it's a shame that, that some people choose to knock that. Why would you want to knock somebody's enthusiasm, If somebody's happy and wants to share that enthusiasm and love about something, and other people will enjoy that, good luck to them. Yeah? Don't be the negative Nancy comes in and pisses on everybody's parade just because it's not yours. Just let people get on and enjoy themselves and celebrate things that they like and talk about. And that's what we do here on the Stadia Monday Night Chat. We try to provide, sensible analysis, factual information, keep you up to date with Stadia, analyze where we think Stadia is going, and also have a good chat because we enjoy Stadia, So there we go. Been waiting all year to use this super sticker. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Yes, it is indeed Ra Games. They are, Liam. That's what I'm saying. The pro games are all pretty good, if we're brutally honest about it. Finished. Oh, Assassin's Creed 3, now Centipede and Those Who Remain. I started playing Those Who Remain this evening. Viva Mexico, indeed. Haven't tried the pro games. Oh my, still on the Far Cry 6 expansions. Oh gosh, of course. Friday night. I think I might do a live stream exclusive to my members of FNAF. Yeah. Friday Night at Freddy's. Yeah. Nachos, indeed. MM2K. Clive is alive. He's in the house. Yeah, he's alive. More like a minion. Yeah, very good, Tally. Yeah, exactly. Watching Clive. Dylan, how are you, sir? I like a card game. Was into Hearthstone. See, that's quite nerdy, isn't it, Dave? Really? But only ever made rank 2. I don't like. Oh, Anthony doesn't like card games. Thought this would be least liked game, but I played it the most. This is what I'm hearing. Gondaris has been playing for 2 hours every night. What's up, 1030 Media Group? I saw you just crept above me in Centipede. Yes. Oh, I see the comment at the end. How Lords can. Yes. I see you, sir, in Centipede. Anyway, so welcome to all the beginners. Yeah, so definitely games I've been playing. Centipede. Oh, my lordy, lordy, lord. I mean, I was looking forward to playing it from a nostalgia point of view. I remember it, or sort of Centipede, or versions of it, when it was in the pub. And it was a tabletop game. And there was like a ball, a roller ball thing. And then the 2 buttons. So you used to sort of roll the ball. This is my ball here. Roll the ball. And then you pressing the buttons. And then if you played 2-player, somebody could sit the other side of the table, sort of with a glass top. So I remember it. But I really like what Adam Vision? Yeah, so Atari and Adam Vision have done to the game. I really, they've kept it simple. They've not over elaborated. They just sort of made it look a bit more kind of up to date and neon, but they've kept its original thing. And it just goes to show it's so addictive. I showed my son very briefly as he walked past to fill his face full of food, from FIFA. And I said, look, you have a go. And he had a go. And then, about half an hour later, we was throwing the controller on the floor in a kind of rage quit manner. And then later I heard him upstairs tap, 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 because he was playing it with mouse and keyboard. And all I could hear was the tap, 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 tap. And I went in his room and sure enough, he's playing Centipede. So he's hooked. It's so addictive. It's such a cool game. So, and while I think about it, because it's a Stadia, I've seen everybody tweeting about it. Lots of people tweeting about it, sharing their scores. The community's sort of really getting together. You see your friends, you see where you're positioned in the world and all of that. And then you see like people like 1030 Media Group in the chat going above you. I mean, when I first started, I saw like, I got a score that I thought would take me to the top of my friends. And then when I look back, Project Storm had gone zooming past, and then Purple Haze has gone zooming past. So it's very kind of, it's a real fun community game, and it's great. It's just like the old arcade day when you turn up at the arcade and then you'll see somebody's 3 initials at the top and you think, what? And your initials drop down. So you put a few more 10p's in, or quarters in America, or however much you used to pay on your arcade machines. But of course, it's a Stadia Pro title. So based on the amount of activity that I'm seeing around it, based on the fact that Stadia Pro titles, of course, earn every play day, as it were, of that, every play session earns the developer publisher a share of the Stadia Pro. I think Atari are going to do all right out of it, which I hope means that they're going to go, you know what? Why don't we put all the games that are due from Atari, all the Atari recharged games that we know are coming, why don't we put them all on Stadia Pro? I'm hoping that the numbers that they get back as a result of partaking in the Stadia Pro scheme, the financial scheme, royalty scheme that Stadia have set up, that they go, yeah. Because releasing that game, say, on PlayStation or even Steam or something like that, it can get lost. And you're very dependent on the sales And there's so many games being launched on those platforms of different levels and whatever, that the game can get lost, and therefore you might not make many sales compared to, you know, with Stadia Pro, most of the community seem to be playing Centipede. So hopefully, yeah, Centipede and Rogue Book battling it out for revenue. My 7-year-old son's, hey, welcome the People's Club. Loves FNAF Security Breach. Bad dad, no, yeah, encourage him. Lord Kensal is my Stadia username, Primo. Lord Kensal. The rollerball setup, do you like it? Yeah. Well, remember last week I talked about getting the, thinking of buying that arcade machine for my house. You know, hey, with Jack the Slip's help, I'm on the way there. I'm on the way with that donation. If I get enough money eventually from YouTube, I'm going to buy that arcade machine. And as I said, you can plug in HDMI, so you could plug in a Chromecast and play Centipede on it. Seems a bit crazy and backwards. I'd love to do it though. Exactly. Atari for Stadia. Amazing. Yes. More Atari games are on their way, Rashad. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Well, we know at least 3, don't we, Liam, are coming out. Plus that other Atari game, a new game. I forgot what it was called now, but it was in the news last week, in the Stadia news. I talked about it. I'd like to see Missile Command recharged. I'm not sure if it exists yet, but I saw a tweet, I think, from Atari saying who would like a recharged version of Missile Command. I'm going to have a quick look. Excuse me while I go... Yes, it is available. Yes, Atari. I know you watch my show. Look, we'll have a quick look. Look. Now, this was part of the 40th anniversary. Oh, no, it was for the 40th anniversary of Missile Command, of the original. And it's the same sort of style, as you can see, just above my head here. The Centipede style and the Black Widow style. I want this game. I want Missile Command. Atari, bring Missile Command. I demand it. Right, so there we go. Yeah, so I played Fast and the Furious. I played them all except Rogue. Oh, apart from FNAF, and Five Nights at Freddy's and Rogue Book. They're the only ones I haven't played of the Stadia Pro titles. And I'm putting a lot of hours into Centipede. I only started playing Those Who Remain tonight, and then I couldn't find the key. So I looked it up where it is and then realized I was a doofus. So we'll go back and continue that later tonight. But there we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's been an epic. This week has been epic, as the cowboy might say. So why don't we go to the news, catch up, find out what it's all about. So it's over to Clive. Where are you, Clive? Over there or over there? I think you're over there. Over to Clive in the news studio, ladies and gentlemen. So Clive in the news. Thanks, Clive. Welcome to the Stadia Monday Night News for the 4th of July. The big news of the week was undoubtedly the announcement that Stadia will be launching in Mexico. Google announced the expansion at a Google for Mexico event last week. In a big push by Google into Mexico and a drive to become Mexico's trusted technology ally, Google made several announcements about investment in Mexico and bringing more of their Google services to Mexico. And that, of course, includes Stadia. Announcing the country expansion, the director of marketing of Google Mexico stated that there are currently 72 million gamers who play on their phone, computers or console in Mexico, and introduced Stadia as having more than 200 plus games, free trials and Stadia Pro, etc. The plan is to launch Stadia in Mexico later this year, and he went on to add that we can expect much more news on this very, very soon. This is the first country expansion by Stadia we've seen since 2020, bringing the total number of countries that Stadia is in to 23. Country expansion was something that was predicted as happening very, very soon, on this very show, the Stadia Monday Night Chat. In fact, only last week. But even we are pleasantly surprised that it's happened so soon. As stated on this show, country expansion is the quickest and most surefire way to increase the user base of Stadia, something that is much needed and something that will drive the uptake by publishers and developers to bring their games to Stadia. Overall, this was met very positively by many in the tech press, and signs that Stadia is not going anywhere. Something, of course, this show has consistently pointed out based on all the facts from reliable sources such as, I don't know, Stadia's, developers, publishers, Stadia job postings, etc., etc., since Stadia very clearly stated the direction of travel in February 2021, and is evidence that in terms of a narrative, this is a straight line continuance of everything Stadia laid out they'd be doing when they refocused the business back in February 2021 to this point now. Right now, as we've said on this show many times, Stadia is a very compelling offer to anyone coming to Stadia for the first time. With 53 Stadia Pro titles, or is it even more now, 78 free trials and over 250 plus games. We can expect further country expansion by Stadia in the coming years, if not coming months. Further good news of Stadia expanding to more people came with the launch of the Samsung TVs featuring Samsung Gaming Hub that are rolling out this week. And there was a good marketing push from the likes of Samsung, Stadia and Xbox, all highlighting the new Samsung Gaming Hub. In a statement on the Stadia blog, they stated, "Bringing Stadia to Samsung TVs also marks our continued progress towards a key goal that we mentioned last November, to continue to expand Stadia to offer easier access to the best of cloud gaming across more devices." Ally that with the Mexico push, and you can see Stadia's theme of expanding access coming to fruition. Last week also saw the Stadia Pro Week with the launch of 6 Stadia Pro games, which included 5 new games to the platform in the shape of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Centipede Recharge, Those Who Remain, Worms WMD, and Rogue Book, and one previously released game, Fast and Furious Spy Racers. In addition to the Pro games, My Little Pony, A Maritime Bay Adventure trotted onto the platform, as did Rabbids Party Legends from Ubisoft, bringing the chaos and the mayhem. But it didn't stop there. With the arrival of Figment 2 Creed Valley, the sequel to Figment 1, that's 7 new games dropping on Stadia in the week, increasing the cadence of game releases. But there were further game announcements, with League of Super Pets, The Adventure of Crypto and Ace releasing on July the 15th. And more games, yes, more games have been announced for Stadia, and this time it's from the publisher of Elemental War 2, Clockwork Origins. On a blog post on their website earlier, they stated they were working on an update on the original Elemental War and a game called Tri-6 Infinite to bring the games to more platforms, not only next gen, but including Stadia. With Stadia versions currently in test mode so they can enter certification, the hope is for release by August/early September. Elemental War, the original, is a tower defense game with multiplayer matches, single-player gameplay, and lots of indie love. Tri-6 Infinite is a sort of wipeout racing game through cyberspace, where you avoid procedurally distributed obstacles and beat the evil virus enemies as long as possible to reach the top of the leaderboards. You can play locally with up to 4-player multiplayer with power-ups and missiles and things like that. And finally, there's a new map announcement for PUBG, which is launching on the 21st of July. Deston is PUBG's upcoming 8x8 map set in an abandoned metropolis ravaged by storms and floods. Deston will feature previously unseen content and items, as well as exclusive gameplay mechanics, including means to quickly climb to the top of a skyscraper tower, dominating the map. Overall, then, a very positive week for Stadia with 7 new games, more game announcements, country expansion, and the rollout of the Samsung TV app, and currently 78 free trial demos and counting. And on that note, it's back to Clive in the main studio. Clive, it's back to you at Stadia Monday Night Chat. Thank you. Thanks, Clive. Much appreciated. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot one of the pro titles. It was Worms. WMD was one of the pro titles. So that's three pro titles I've not looked at yet. So I'll get on to that. But anyway, there you go. Of course, the big news, as I said last week, was about expansion to Stadia. And in the news, you saw some of the quotes from Stadia on their blog posts and stuff like that. And that word expansion, expanding, whether expanding to other devices, Samsung Gaming Hub, or expansion as in countries. But that word keeps cropping up. And as I said last week, lest you forget, because I'm going to blooming well remind you, this is me last week, ladies and gentlemen. This was me last week. There we are. That was me last week. And this is what I had to say. You can't hear it. Let me just... why is that? Oh, yes, there we go. Right. No, I don't sound better that way. Whoever said that, cheeky. This is what I had to say, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I had to say. Very cheeky, whoever said that. Better muted. And as I said, Stadia is in a perfect place now to expand, to roll out. Yeah? Like I've always said before, Stadia is the best now that it's ever been because you've got over 200 games. You've got over 50 games in the Stadia Pro library. You've got 61 free trials. Yeah, it's available on Samsung TVs. It's available on LG TVs. It's available on Google TVs. Yeah. It just needs to roll out to other territories. And as I said so many times on the show, you've got such a compelling offering. And I think the rumblings of that is happening in the background. And as I said, Stadia is in a perfect... You'll start again there. Anyway, so yeah, last week. So there I was saying, I felt something was happening. I felt a rumbling. Yeah, I felt it in my waters, in my tea leaves. No, just the things seem to be coming together, that Stadia seemed to be pulling together the pieces. If you draw the line, as I've always said, between the sort of data points that we get, something was happening. And then 4 days later, I said, I'm thinking the best thing they need to do is expansion, could be on the horizon. And 4 days later, what do? They announce they're expanding to Mexico. What is it, some kind? Burn the witch. He's a witch. Burn the witch. How did he know? Well, I didn't. Like, I assumed there would be expansion this year based on what we've seen. I did sense last week that there was a gathering of pace, but I didn't expect within 4 days of me saying, I think there's going to be some form of expansion or Stadia need to expand, that 4 days later they'd be announcing expansion to Mexico. So pleasantly surprised, as Clive said on the news. Absolutely. And I think it's great. But let's see, what does that mean, though? What does it mean? Well, our good friend InLed, look at this. Thank you again. Shout out to InLed for all the data. But look at this. Stadia country expansion. Stadia country expansion. So here we go. Look at Mexico. There. Look at Mexico there. That's Germany. The one above, Mexico. Look at the size of it. It's the second largest in terms of population after the United States. So not insignificant. Now, obviously, that's population, and what you should really do, and I don't know whether InLed has the data, but is is to look at the gamers. So what we do know, based on the data that Google supplied us from that Google for Mexico presentation, is that there are 72 million gamers. Data I looked up previously said about 68. That was probably from last year. So 72 million is probably about right. So about 70 million gamers. Yeah. And we know that cloud gaming is a 1% to 2% business. Yeah. So even if 1% of the 72 million gamers decide to get Stadia, and maybe you could say, well, that's a bit ambitious, Clive. 1%. Is it? Is 1%? So if 1% jumped on board, that's 750,000 instantly, just like that. 750,000. I mean, it's this is a great chart because it really puts things into context. Because, you know, even though, you know, when Stadia expanded to those in 2020, I don't think it reached the same population as it has in one fair swoop, like an eagle attacking a snake. Little Mexico reference there. Like it has on Mexico. 129 million population, 72 million gamers. That's a lot of gamers. And yeah, and in that number of gamers is mobile gaming. So you could sort of say, well, that's not necessarily reflective of the sort of gamers, but then again, it is. That's the beauty of Stadia. So anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought that was very interesting. Thank you for that, Inled. A very interesting chart. Mexico expansion is not just another country. Right now, it's the largest country that they've expanded to population-wise outside of America. So that's put it in some kind of context. To be frank, you were spot on about expansion. Who tipped you off? Well, expansion was inevitable. It is inevitable. You know, Stadia were never standing still. So it was inevitable. It was just a question of when. Some people, I thought they would do it by the end of last year, but for whatever reason. And now, in retrospect, I kind of see, and I've mentioned on this show, that I think they were going through a rebuilding process. Yeah, a reset process. And putting the things in place so that they're ready for that expansion. Because this but then again, on one side, this expansion just isn't about Stadia. This is Google Google are entering Mexico, contributing culturally, contributing kind of from charitably, contributing from a business point of view. They're supplying, you know, tech for schools. They're investing in protecting the many sort of indigenous languages that are getting lost, investing in charities, investing in business, in infrastructure. So it's a big old push from Google. It's not just Stadia. It's like a massive push, lots of other stuff. And Stadia happens to be part of the package of services. So I think Google Pay, or which is now called Google Wallet again, Google Wallet was never available in Mexico, as I understand it. Now it is. So there we go. But there we are. It is. So theoretical growth, Tally Darkstar. So what it is based on is gaming, industry gaming analysis. Yeah, so that 1% isn't a number. It is, of course, theoretical. It's not growth. It's based on current. So actually it is factual. The growth is theoretical, but it's based on actual data, Tally. That we have seen numbers that have varied based on analysis by game industry consultants who, you know, are paid thousands of pounds to put together consultancy papers around the gaming industry for the benefit of publishers and the gaming industry at whole, have come up with figures that vary between about 1 to 3%, depending on where you look at. So that bit is fairly factual. Applying 1% to the number of gamers in Mexico is just an assumption. Of course it is. We don't know what percentage, but it's a good starting place. That's all I'm saying. If you're an analyst, you would use it as a starting place. You'd say, what is the average around the world in terms of cloud gaming? Can I use that and apply it to the number of gamers in Mexico? And again, do you say the 72 million gamers? Do you discount the mobile phone gamers because they're all playing Candy Crush? And is the number more like, 30 million, 50 million? So there we go. So that's where that's where it's based on, Tally. The point is, it's not a number picked out the sky. As all things on this show, it's taken from a number of data, and it's not just one analysis; it's a number of different analyses that we've presented on this show. So I think, as a rule of thumb, it's not a bad estimate to use based on data analysis that have been done by people who are much more experienced and high paid to talk about gaming than I am. I'm paid $50 by Jack the Slip today just to talk about it, not thousands of dollars. There you go. That's interesting. Oh, sorry, I missed that there. Where are the Google data centers located? How many are there? I don't know. It's very interesting. Is it because, they could be based in Arizona or New Mexico or so? I don't know. But they're investing heavily in and providing new services, like I said, like the Google Wallet and stuff like that. So there must be close by, or the infrastructure must be there in terms of node or endpoints, whatever, in order to provide those services. Hey, hola, Antonio Ramirez. How are you again? Welcome. But there we go. So it's just kind of interesting. I think, the expansion to Mexico is bigger than I realized. I mean, it was big, but seeing that chart from Inled there, that it's the second largest territory outside of the US, is very, very interesting. So there we go. Oh, so Gandara says there's an edge pop in Mexico City for Google. Okay, well, there we go. That would make sense if that is correct. Certainly. But anyway, yeah, so as I say, I said last week, I talked about expansion. And what I want to talk about is, as I said, I don't have some kind of crazy crystal ball. It's not just luck. It is based on following the news, following the information, and blocking out all the nonsense. Stadia's dead, as soon as I was one of the first out the door when Stadia closed Stadia Games and Entertainment in February 2021. I was one of the first to say they're just, it's a pivot. It's a business pivot. Whereas everybody said, no, it's the beginning and the end. It's the beginning and the end. I'm thinking, well, no, because they've laid out, they need a roadmap. They need to tell us what they're doing. Well, they did. And I repeated it. Ad infinitum, whatever. It just went on. I repeated it. They did. There's your roadmap. Working with partners, which we now know is Immersive Stream. Looking at ways to bring more games to Stadia in terms of, as it turns out, as they then later announced 3-4 months later at the Google for Games Developer Conference in 2021, new publisher revenue incentives. Then between then and Google for Games Developer Conference in March 2022, they've added to that, they've expanded that, they've improved the QA process because that was a sticking point, and we're beginning to see the fruits of that. They've been constantly advertising for jobs, mostly around engineering, to build out the tech and work on the Q&A and the porting process, specifically for porting process. And it's not just one job, it's several jobs that keep cropping up for these things. So all the seeds are there. All the information if you get the information from Google, we've had conversations, if you follow any of the interviews that Four Scars Gaming does with the developers and publishers, stuff that's said on the record, stuff that's said off the record, you know that Stadia is doing stuff behind the scenes. So you know Google are trying to, push Stadia forward because the publishers are excited. Publishers are telling you they're really happy with the way that Stadia responds to them. And again, it's not just one developer. It's 2, 3, or 4 developers have all said the same. They're super responsive, super helpful. And so you can draw a line between all these bits of information that you get from proper sources. And it's a straight line. Let's say, for instance, let's call it a narrative, shall we? What you find is from February 2021 to here, that narrative, as I said, I think Clive said in the news, is a straight line. It has been consistent. Lots of other people have had their own narratives. Yeah? Oh, it's dead, it's dying, it's going, they've got to do something. No, it's rubbish, it's going to collapse, it's gone, it's in last legs, blah, blah, blah. But the one straight line between February 2021 to here, following the dots, is the one true narrative based on facts, based on what Stadia said, on what Google have said. Why would you just discount what Google says, but yet believe what some bloke on Reddit says, yeah? Or some random YouTuber says, or even some column, some tech journo, yeah, who is inconsistent with following those dots. Just basic analysis, yeah? The only analogy I can think with some people, if they're just so short-sighted, is that, to use my orchard analogy that I've used before in the planting of seeds, right? It's like Google buys a field. Oh my God, Google's bought a field. How stupid. Oh my God, why would they buy a field? And you think, yeah, why would they buy a field? And then Google digs some holes in the field. Oh my God, Google are digging some holes in the field. Why would they do that? Rubbish. Yeah, why would they do that? You start thinking, they bought a field. Now they're digging holes in the field. Okay, interesting. Google buys some seeds. Oh my God, Google's bought some seeds. Why are they doing that? Yeah. But then I'm thinking, so they bought the field. They've dug some holes. Then they bought some seeds. Are they planting an orchard? Are we going to see some apples later down the line? Then next, so Google plants seeds in the holes. Oh, they put seeds in the holes. Why would they do that? Nobody's stopping to think, join up the dots and go, they're building an orchard. We're going to have a basket full of apples very soon. And then later, Google announces they're releasing some apples. Quelle surprise. How did you know, Clive? How did you know they were going to... Are you some kind of wizard or witch? No, I'm not. Just basic analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Just follow the lines. It's all there. Ignore the rubbish and follow the lines. Anyway, I don't want to go on about it. It's too negative to talk about that too much. Other people's issues. Let them get on with it. You're in the safe place here, ladies and gentlemen, if you want kind of, proper analysis and information and being informed, educated, and entertained, and all of that. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Right. But yeah, so again, let me know in the chat, all of that. How excited are you for Mexico and the expansion to Samsung TVs in the gaming hub? I've seen a lot of tweets on that. I did see some people go Samsung tweeted it, and it was all about Xbox, and people said, oh, Stadia's included. But yeah, what people don't realize is that some tweets from Samsung TV about their new Samsung Gaming Hub are sponsored by Xbox. And you just have to look at other tweets and then you'll see, Xbox Stadia, GeForce Now, Utomic, or whatever they're called, are all included. So you just need to bear that in mind. But I've seen there's lots of press around that. That Forbes article mentioned both the expansion to Stadia and the rollout of Samsung TVs with Stadia on it, because they both happened at the same time. So there we go. Oh, Amnar's in the house. Of course. We're going to ship Amnar off to Mexico if you're not carefully. What I found is they gave Immersive Stream the same standing as Stadia in Mexico because they are hand in hand, Gandara. Did they? I didn't notice that though. I mean, I just watched the main Stadia bit, but they are, and I watched this in subtitles, English subtitles. But you know, of course, you know, you want to be able to go to, say, for example, Capcom, you know, that free trial you did of Resident Evil Village, you can expand it now to Mexico. One thing I did that I've seen some developers and publishers aren't in the habit of tweeting out links to their games or their trials. I saw Roguebook, the developer of Roguebook, tweet out Roguebook available now on Stadia. And there's a demo. I think there's a 90-minute demo of it. So come on, Roguebook. What you should be doing is tweeting it out with a link to the demo. Developers and publishers need to get into that habit, I think. I mean, it is pretty revolutionary, the idea that you can, you know, play the game now instantly. But definitely. So if you see publishers or developers saying, you know, my game is now available on Stadia and they have a free trial, or, you know, or even just their landing page and they haven't included it, man, you should maybe retweet or requote them and go back to them and reply to them and say, you should send a link, mate, to your demo of your game. And I'm sure it'll be much more successful. Right, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. It's just been a good week, and great games, great Stadia Pro games, expansion, rollout Samsung TVs, new game announcements. And I'm expecting more game announcements in the next couple of weeks as well. Well, we have to in order to hit the 100. Here we are. So I did a little summary of Stadia's year so far. Just before they announced, well, it's about the same time they announced to Mexico, actually. So it was quite interesting because that was my next thing, was like they need to expand to another country. And that sort of took the steam from that because they did. But anyway, another chart from Inled here. This is where they are. 37 games. This is as of today. And we know we've got a couple more games coming in the next kind of couple of weeks. But there are 37 releases. They're at the same place they were in 2020, which released 108 games. But 2020 did see a massive jump round about December, I seem to remember. But it was pretty quiet here, August, September. So I think we can see, I think we'll be all right. I think we're on track. I can see a flurry here, but they do need to get a move on. But it's just interesting to note where Stadia is in terms of its target of 100 games. You know, there may be a few they might miss because of delays or whatever. You never guarantee, you know, but I think they're on target for that. And I also happen to know that they are busily, or they're constantly, trying to secure deals and do deals for 23 and onwards. They're in the marketplace. Little birdie told me. So they're doing the rounds, talking about Stadia, talking with publishers, talking developers. Of course, they're doing it all year round. But what I'm trying to say is, when big events come along, gaming industry events, they're there. They may not have a public face, but they're there doing the business. So there we are. That's another little chart from Inled there. Just thought I'd share that one. And just for the Pro titles, look at the Pro monitor. Let's have a quick look at his Pro monitor. Here are the Pro titles. So 2022, doing really well on Stadia Pro. 39 games so far, compared to the previous years here at the same time. So we're getting significantly more pro games, we're tracking quite low on games in general, about the same rate as 2020. But in terms of pro games, we're tracking above. 157 pro games available, have been available over the time. But look, you can see down here, we're getting significantly more pro games. Look, 7 pro games in June, 6 in July. Oh my God, what a disappointment. So it's good. I think we're getting kind of steady flow of those things. But there we go. I hope most of those games are not aimed at kids. Seems to me more and more are. I think you're more likely to see more. Well, so they have a relationship with Outright Games, who specialize in kids games. Yeah. Kids IP and kids games. And it is their intention to bring all their games to Stadia. So you're going to see those. So, and it needs it. You want a good family selection. No doubt about it. And I think, and we know they've got a pretty healthy catalogue, Outright Games. But then you get things like Those Who Remain. That's not really a kids game, is it? Wired Productions. And we know Wired Productions want to bring their games to Stadia, plus the Ubisoft games. So you get in fairness, you get a good mix. Does Stadia miss out this year on some of the big AAAs that aren't Ubisoft titles? Yes, they do, I think, unfortunately. But we're more, and so a lot of those games will be indie games or family type games and stuff like that, which in itself isn't a bad thing. But I think we have to accept, because it's probably easier to get those games on there now. They want to sort of meet that 100 games. And also, I think there's a sort of a myth and an illusion around how many genuine big AAA games there are. Once you take out exclusives, once you take out Ubisoft, then there are big games, and those the minority of those, those few make a big noise. Absolutely, no question about it. But they're not that many. And there's loads and loads and loads and loads of other games that get published. And right now, Stadia Pro is ideal for indies, as I said, because the title doesn't get lost. It's more likely to get played than if you just drop it on Steam, oddly enough. Because the Stadia community jump on their Stadia Pro titles like crazy. So there we go. They said, Gandara says, they said last year Affiliate Program will go live in the first half of 2022. This is where publishers get £10 for each person they introduce to Stadia Pro, tracked by click-to-play links, which is why they need to do their links. But also they get a share. They get a share of the revenue. The Stadia Pro revenue. So all the revenue that they share, a percentage of that is that Stadia get, a percentage of that is ring-fenced, and then that pot, that ring-fenced pot of money is then shared out amongst all the Pro titles based on the amount of playtime each of those. So some calculations, some algorithm works it all out and then pays those indies. So if you're an indie, so like that's what I'm saying. So something like a game like Atari Centipede Recharge, which the whole community seem to be playing, it's getting a lot of playtime, is probably going to get a good share of this month's Stadia Pro pot. And that is why I think Stadia Pro is great for indies. And as long as, and eventually it'll be good for AAAs, but as long as the sort of AAAs you're going to get, if Stadia are going to throw them in, and they need to now and then, are older AAAs, which is fine. I think Stadia does have a big market penetration in homes with families. Of course it does. We joke about dads. If I look at the core demographic, people who watch this show, it's like 35 to 50, 100% male, even though I know there are some females who watch it. But, so that's dad territory. No question about it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I found these results on search.
Okay, Google, stop. Yeah, no doubt. FIFA will be a defining moment for Stadia. I'm still hopeful. I'm worried that how much my prediction that it's coming is wishful thinking, hope, or genuine analysis? I doubt myself. I think it's coming, but like, is it because I really want it to come? Is it because I really hope it's going to come? Or is it because I just think, based on what I've said on this show before, genuinely based on data, that I think this is the title, that it's worthwhile for EA. They'll look at the data on this one and go, yeah, Madden, but EA, yeah. And then with the addition of Mexico, yeah. Oh, it's never here till it's here. But yeah, I'd be surprised. My position now is I'd be surprised if it doesn't come. Yeah. Madden, I was sort of surprised but disappointed, but yeah, maybe, yeah, but FIFA, definitely. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway. I'm just going to go quickly to the chat. There we are. Nailed on, it's coming. Yeah. Rocking it out as always, of course. Dylan picked up Five Nights Security Breach. Horrifying game. So I'm going to play it as a noob. Yeah. A noob plays Five Nights at Freddy. Let's just move that in there so you lot can see that. There we go. Good. They have been releasing more things over these. Very interesting. Well, it's the 50th anniversary, so yeah. Hey, Geek the Sneak, how are you, sir? Sure hope you knocked first, because that tapping might not have been Centipede. Exactly, Metal Wolf. I kind of was in my head. I was thinking, yeah, what are you doing? I'm playing Centipede. Oh, all right then. It does. It brings out that old school competition. I've seen a number of people comment that on Twitter. It's definitely got that old school vibe coming. 40-something in the world is Dave. Well, yeah, but Dylan, you must have been down the arcade. You could tell you're getting old and you can remember arcade machines still being 10p. Exactly. Yeah. I can't imagine how many 10p's I would have put in. That's the thing. You just play. Oh, you get killed, and it's play again, play again, play again, play again, play again. So many people sort of saying, well, what's this game coming? Where's the triple A's? But you know what I mean? It does. If you enjoy a game, you enjoy a game, and the community, as far as I can see in general, is enjoying Centipede. So, triple A, triple schmay. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, you need triple A's. It gives the platform credibility and all of that. But actually, you shouldn't just automatically be snobbish and dismiss every other form of game. A, because there aren't that many genuine multi-platform triple A's, realistically, across the year. And you've got to fill your library with something. 2, you discover some really interesting games you never have played. Rogue Book I probably would never have played as a game. I haven't played it yet, but I might suddenly become addicted and become a full-on nerd. My girls can play FNAF, and I can do the Rogue Book and Centipede. Yes, exactly. Well, exactly. I shared, my son said to me, can you share it with me? And I said to him, I pointed out to him, I said, by the way, they've got a demo. You can share it with your friend. And he was saying, no, but every time my friend tries to play Stadia, it asks him to join up with a pro account. And I was saying, not anymore. Free trial. Get him to do it. See if he can beat your score. The best racer is a fun racer. It is a fun racer. It's a kind of a classic racer, but Anthony thinks he's the best in the world at this. So somebody needs to take Anthony down a peg or two, don't they? Challenge him. Challenge Anthony to a bit of Fast and the Furious. I'd like to see a remake of Sequest. Not familiar with Sequest, Metal Wolf. There you go, 1030 Media. Challenge him. The Atari VCS. I've seen people play Stadia on the Atari VCS. My mother had the 2600. Yeah. I think I remember that. Hey, Crow, how are you? Mike, possibly confirm I still have my 2600. Oh, yeah, tally. Always over to Clive in the studio. The Oracle. Maybe it was just luck, eh? Yeah, Inled's graphics are amazing, aren't they? He did another one. I think I've shown them all. He keeps doing them. Yeah. They look really cool. Always a pleasure, Inled. Just keep the graphics coming, you know. Inled was very kind to give me a... I asked him specifically to do... I think to do this one. For my half-yearly review, which was on the 30th of June. So, but it's based on the 1st of July numbers. Right, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. I don't think, MMG says, I don't think a single game will be the defining moment. It speaks more for 2022 than the platform forever. I don't think it's a defining moment. No, absolutely. Because, you know, but I think it's it'll be a nice fillip in the middle of the year. Yeah, a nice little point that you can go, told you so. I don't want to be the sort of person who says, I told you so. But it would be nice, a nice statement. Yeah. You could play. It's like because we're playing. You know, we're so used to playing whack-a-mole. It's like be giving an extra 5 mallets to hit all the moles at once. Yeah, that's what FIFA 23 is. Yeah, it's like getting a boost up bonus on your mallet for hitting the whack-a-moles that are moaning about Stadia. But yeah, not defining moment, but a key moment in the year. Yeah. If only it was that simple, Gandara. Yeah, quick, go to Mexico, go to Brazil. I'm curious what country is next. And also I'm curious, is there a way that we can analyze? Were there signs it was Mexico? You know, in my head I had, you know, Asia Pacific, because maybe we'd seen some hints and clues that they're expanding to Asia Pacific. And who's to say they're not? You know, so Korea, Japan, that part of, you know, Asia Pacific. Who's to say they're not? The other part of me, everyone was saying Brazil. Look at, you know, massive market in Brazil. And I don't think anybody saw Mexico come in. So were there any signs, whether, you know, Google building out their endpoints, whatever, in Mexico, or investing in infrastructure earlier, that could have given us a clue that something was happening in Mexico? And then can we use those clues to look for clues for other countries? I'm wondering. Anyway, but there we go. Well, the thing is, Amnur, is that they don't have consoles because, according to Sunny Cloud Gaming, you know, the consoles cost the median average in terms of wage is slightly less than, say, the US, I believe. And also the consoles themselves cost twice as much. So there we go. I remember when there were a shilling in Brighton. A shilling, Victor, a shilling. I think shillings went out in 1972. I do. Hey, I'm Proper Joe. Of course we do. Unfortunately, it's the big publishers who are playing hard to get and still sort of, you know, eyeing out the market slightly. As I've said on this show, can't be bothered to get out of bed unless it's $1 million straight in their pocket. Yeah. Whereas indies are, you know, happy with like 50 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever. They're happy with that. But the big publishers, they're the ones that say, no, it's not even worth it unless I can get, I'm going to get a guaranteed $1 million or whatever it is. And they're the ones that have the big sporting rights. So, yeah. But if they keep expanding on the same basis, slowly but growing. Like I said, the word I would use is that Stadia is warming up. I wouldn't say it's heating up. I wouldn't say things are heating up, because that sounds like there's a certain speed to that. I'd say it's warming up. It's still going to be a while before they get to the place where dropping, where a big publisher dropping a game on Stadia is the norm. And by then, those big publishers may well have their own cloud gaming platforms that they favor. But equally, the Stadia store may be big enough for them to sort of say, well, we can't ignore that, in the same way we can't ignore the Steam store. Steam doesn't get everything. So there we go. But definitely, it's warming up. But definitely, yeah, pounding moment. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yay! Chariot Man Gaming just subscribed. Thank you. Thank you, good sir. Much appreciated. Weren't you already subscribed, Chariot Man Gaming? Appreciated anyway. Appreciated. Consoles are 30. There we are. It's a 30% more expensive in Mexico than here. There we go. Crazy. Urek, hello Clive. What do you think about Putler? Putler? I'm confused, sir. I'm gonna have to look it up. I hope it's not going to be rude. As an analysis tool, is that what you're referring to? Or it's also a derogatory term extended to by merging the names of Vladimir Putin and someone else. Interesting. Or do you mean the multi-channel e-commerce analysis tool? I hope you mean that. No, that's consultant. I'm not sure what you mean. But there we go. A cricket game. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say, because only in the UK, surely we're going to be... Oh, no. But then, yeah. Drop it in India. Kaboom. But yeah, but like not everybody can justify getting an Xbox. So that's the thing. Cherryman Gaming, how are you? Ah, there we go. I thought it was odd. Sir. Stadia is here to Stadia. Exactly. Don't extract it. I got it. I caught it, Chariot. I caught it. No, I like the Stadia is here to stay. Stadia. I don't know why the Xbox is less expensive than the PlayStation. Maybe because it's maybe the infrastructure, maybe Xbox heavily what's the word? Subsidizes, whereas PlayStation are reluctant to subsidize. I played cricket as a boy. Well done, Victor. It's a good game. I enjoy cricket, watching it sometimes. But there we go. But yeah, it's exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting times. And I'm looking forward to the next few months. I'm looking forward to this month. So in terms of FIFA, we talked about FIFA 23. Announcement is pending. I think we are due. It's due to be announced within the next couple of weeks. So we'll no longer be speculating. We won't have to speculate either way, whatever happens. And we got a few more games that are due to roll out in July as well. So all good. So there we go. We'll end the show on that. Once again, thank you so much for joining me live. Really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the chat. I enjoyed the chat. It's great to see you guys and all of that. Why don't we do it all again? Same time, same place next week. Big shout out to all my members. As I said, I think the plan is for me to do Five Nights at Freddy's stream probably tomorrow night, members exclusive on this channel. As a noob, first time and all of that. If you're over in America, have a wonderful 4th of July or the rest of the 4th of July and all of that. Thank you, as I say, to everybody else. Thank you for Jack for the wonderful, wonderful super chat and all of that. Have a great week, everybody. And I'm coming for your centipede scores, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming for your centipede scores. And on that, goodbye, good night, farewell. See you this time, same place, same time next week. Goodbye.